There's a unique hypnosis that takes hold on America's loneliest roads. It happens late at night, when the only light is the cone of your own headlights cutting a desperate tunnel through the darkness. The crackle of an AM radio station fading in and out, the rhythmic thump of the tires on asphalt. It's a quiet, isolating experience. And in that quiet, you can almost feel the country's age, the weight of all the stories soaked into the soil beneath the pavement. They say some roads hold on to those stories tighter than others. They remember the tragedies, the violence, the sorrow, and sometimes, if you drive them at the right time of night, they're more than willing to share. We begin in the vast, empty expanse of the American Southwest. There's a stretch of highway running through Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado, once officially designated U.S. Route 666. Locals and truckers just called it the Devil's Highway, and for good reason. The accident rate was so abnormally high that people started to believe something more than just bad luck was at play. Officials eventually bowed to the pressure and renumbered it, Route 491 in 2003, hoping to cleanse it of its dark reputation. But as anyone who lives out there will tell you, changing a number on a sign doesn't change what haunts the road itself. The stories persist. They talk about packs of hellhounds with glowing red eyes that can somehow keep pace with cars traveling at 80 miles per hour, their claws scrabbling against the side panels before they vanish into the desert night. Others report being chased by a spectral semi-truck, a phantom Peterbilt that barrels down on you with its horn blaring, only to disappear from your rearview mirror the second before impact. The most unsettling tales, though, are of the drifters. You'll be driving, alone for miles, and you'll glance at your passenger seat and see someone sitting there. A gaunt, silent figure staring out the window. They don't threaten you. They just ride along, a passenger from nowhere. Then you blink, and they're gone. It's the fear of what didn't happen, the impossible presence that burrows into your mind. The state can call it Route 491, but for those who've driven its length after midnight, it will always be the devil's property. From the sun-scorched desert, we travel east to the damp, dense woods of West Milford, New Jersey. Here you'll find a 10-mile stretch of asphalt so infamous, its name is spoken in hushed tones by anyone interested in the paranormal, Clinton Road. It isn't a highway. It's a narrow, winding country lane with no streetlights, no shoulder, and some of the sharpest, most dangerous curves in the state. The woods crowd in on both sides, so thick and dark they seem to swallow the sound of your engine. And the stories here aren't about just one ghost, they're about a whole ecosystem of the damned. The most famous legend is that of the ghost boy of Dead Man's Curve. There's a small bridge over Clinton Brook. The story goes that if you stop on the bridge at night and throw a quarter into the water below, something will throw it back. Locals who have dared to do it describe the experience with a chilling consistency. You toss the coin, you hear the faint splash. Then, a few seconds later, you hear another splash, closer this time. Or worse, you hear the distinct clink of the coin landing on the asphalt right behind your car. Some say the boy is trying to save you, to warn you away from the dangerous curve where he met his end. Others say he's a lure, a trick to get you out of your car. Because if you do get out to look, you might just feel a small, cold hand slip into yours, trying to pull you toward the guardrail. But the boy isn't alone. Drive further down Clinton Road, and you might experience the phantom headlights. A pair of lights will appear in your rearview mirror, coming up fast, too fast. They'll tailgate you, high beams blazing, chasing you down the winding road. Just as you're convinced you're about to be run off the road, they vanish without a trace. There is never another car there. And deep in the woods, people have reported seeing things that don't fit any description of known wildlife. Strange, pale creatures moving between the trees, their eyes reflecting the headlights in a way no animals should. Clinton Road doesn't feel like a place where something bad happened once. It feels like a place where bad things are always happening, just out of sight, and you're driving right through the middle of it. Now we head south, deep into the humid, sticky air of Mississippi, to a place where a story of greed and violence has seeped into the very timbers of an old bridge. Not far from the town of Meridian, you'll find the Chunky River, and spanning it is a structure known to everyone in the area as Stucky's Bridge. The legend dates back to the 1830s. A man named Stucky ran a small, unassuming inn by the river, a welcome sight for weary travelers. But Stucky wasn't just an innkeeper. He was the leader of a small gang of outlaws. He would welcome guests, offer them a meal and a bed for the night, and then, in their sleep, he and his gang would murder them for their valuables and bury the bodies in the swampy riverbanks. For years, people just vanished along that route. No one knew why. The story goes that Stucky was finally caught and brought to justice by an angry mob. They didn't wait for a judge or a trial. They dragged him to the bridge he'd built near his inn and hanged him from its rafters, leaving his body to swing over the dark water. They say his spirit never left. To this day, people driving over the old bridge at night report strange occurrences. A flickering lantern light seen floating in the middle of the bridge, as if being carried by an unseen hand. The sudden, chilling feeling of being watched from the shadows under the bridge. Some have even seen him. A dark, swaying figure hanging from the wooden beams, or a man in 19th century clothing standing at the far end of the bridge, watching you approach. They say if you stop your car on the bridge and call his name 3 times, he might just appear in the seat next to you, looking for his next victim. From the rural South, we go to the sprawling suburbs of a great American city, Chicago. Just southwest of the city, there's a road called Archer Avenue. It's a busy thoroughfare, but it runs alongside dozens of old cemeteries, their tombstones like crooked teeth in the fading light. And for nearly a century, this road has been home to perhaps the most famous vanishing hitchhiker in American folklore. They call her Resurrection Mary. The stories all start in a similar way. A man is driving home late at night, usually after a dance or a night out. As he passes the old O. Henry ballroom, he sees a young woman on the side of the road. She's beautiful, with blonde hair and blue eyes, and she's wearing a formal white dress, as if she just left a party. She looks out of place, ethereal in the glow of the streetlights. The driver, being a gentleman, pulls over and offers her a ride. She accepts, quietly getting into the passenger seat. She gives him an address down Archer Avenue. The ride is quiet, maybe a little awkward. She's polite but distant. As they drive, he might try to make small talk, but her answers are short, her gaze fixed on the road ahead. Then, as the car passes the main gates of Resurrection Cemetery, he glances over to say something, and she's gone. The passenger door is still closed, the seatbelt still buckled. She has simply vanished into thin air. Many drivers, shaken, have continued to the address she gave them, only to have a weary-looking older woman answer the door and tell them the same sad story. Her daughter, Mary, was killed in a car accident on her way home from a dance at the O. Henry Ballroom decades ago. She was buried in Resurrection Cemetery, in her white dancing dress. Some tellings of the tale add an even more disturbing detail. After Mary vanishes, the driver will later notice something on the car, small handprints on the fogged-up glass of the passenger window. Or, in the most terrifying versions, they find that her hands, in her desperate attempt to hold on to the world of the living, have been pressed so hard against the car that they've left faint but permanent, scorched marks on the cold steel of the door itself. Finally, we find ourselves on a nameless stretch of pavement in the heart of rural North Carolina, a place where the modern world feels like a thin veneer stretched over something much older and darker. This story comes from a crossroads where Haypool Road meets another unmarked farm road. It's the kind of place you only know if you grew up there. The story told by the old-timers is about a clash of two worlds. Back when the first automobiles started sputtering down these dirt roads, a farmer was heading home late one night in his horse and buggy. He was a creature of habit, of a slower time. He carried a lantern, and the clip-clop of his horse was the only sound for miles. At that very crossroads, one of the area's first cars, a noisy, fast machine driven by a young man showing off, came barreling through the intersection without stopping. The crash was horrific. The farmer and his horse were killed instantly, their old-world fragility shattered by the unthinking speed of the new. And they say, on dark, moonless nights, the accident replays itself. If you approach that intersection and stop, you're supposed to kill your engine and wait. At first, there's nothing but the sound of crickets. Then, you hear it. The faint, rhythmic sound of a horse's hooves on gravel, getting closer. A dim, swaying light appears down the road, the unmistakable glow of an oil lantern. The horse and buggy materialize from the darkness, a perfect silhouette of a forgotten time. Just as it reaches the center of the crossroads, there's a blinding flash of spectral headlights from the other road, the sound of splintering wood and a horse's terrified scream. And then, absolute silence. The apparition vanishes. But the true horror comes a moment later. You reach for your keys to restart your car, to get away from this haunted place as fast as you can. But when you turn the key, nothing happens. The engine is dead. The battery is drained. And you are left stranded in the suffocating dark at a crossroads with the chilling realization that the past isn't just repeating itself. It wants to make sure you can't drive away from it.